Hello and welcome to the Minecraft Studio workshop for seasonal finishing touches from 2 Red Robins. And in today's workshop, I'm hopefully going to teach you how we're going to create a swag, a whole branch of beautiful floral blossoms from this USB. We might also touch on just adding a few scenes from previous USBs to build a whole card design as well. So let's hop onto the PC. Let's get started straight away. I've called up a new page, and as you've probably seen me do before, I'm going to remove the ruler and the grid, so I'm working on a plain white, in my head, card piece in which to begin our designs. I'm going to navigate down to where my USB is on my computer, double click the seasonal finishing touches folder, and then call up the scene building elements as well. And as you can see, we've got a whole host of wonderful floral designs that we can use to build in a whole wonderful spray, garlands, swags, crescents, whatever it is, even up to wreath designs as well. So first things first, let's choose the elements I would like to feature in this design. So I'm thinking, let's go in with that really pretty Yuletide blossom. But I kind of want it facing a different direction. I'm not going to change the sizes of anything just yet. I'm just going to get them into the right placement before we go ahead and start layering. It's going to use the little button circle on the side and just drag and drop till that's in more of like a crescent shaped orientation, just like so. So that's going to be the first piece I'm going to lay down in this design. From there, I think let's go ahead and add in some more florals. So building those florals to begin with, and then we can work backwards with a few of the other designs. So something like the poinsettia here, but I think actually, rather than having it a full piece, I might do better just to select one of the little areas of the design. So let's just zoom in. Let's get in nice and close to this design. I mean, look at the detailing in that. It is just incredible, isn't it? Let's click on it to highlight it and then use our scissor tool just to snip away this central piece. So following the artwork details, I'm just going to click my mouse, just following that little leaf to snip away this little element here, okay? Same thing again, we're going to travel along to where this little stem is and snip that away too. Any areas like here where it's white, we don't have to be as precise. We can just go up to the next bit that we need to snip away and follow that round. Now we do get asked, how can I be more precise with this area? Any tips, any tricks to this? Nice short bursts of the click, so don't drag your mouse too far, and just treat it like a pair of scissors, like you're following along the line of the design. So little clicks all the way along until you get to areas where you can just expand out and then come back in to continue snipping. So remember, any white areas we don't have to be too precise with. We just want to extend the scissors up and then down to snip out this. Now this could be the same for any number of the designs on the USB. There could be certain elements you want to snip away, certain elements you want to use. Go ahead and have a play about, because you'll be really surprised on just how many elements you can find by snipping in to these designs. Here we're coming up to another bit where we need to be detailed. So just clicking on where it joins or comes under the other leaf there. And again, short little bursts on that mouse to follow the line detail of where we're snipping this floral away. Same thing again, travel up to where that stalk is and snip away. Any white bits, we don't have to be precise. But again, just coming around the little stalk there and back around that last little leaf. And I think we're almost there. We're snipping away. Let's travel around the top of this little leaf. And just because this little bit here is the end bit of this little leaf, let's just take this out as well, just for neatness and continuity. From there, one final little snip to remove that piece of the leaf, and then the rest is fairly open, so we can just go around and cut through those elements and join. Okay, from here let's scroll down and choose to keep the inner, because it's just that one floral we want to work with. And here we can resize it if we want to. Let's just scroll back out so we can see how it sits within the design. And let's call that first element that we chose, the wonderful little Christmas roses, call that forwards by right-clicking and bringing to the front. That means we can then nestle that poinsettia just into the background wherever we need it to sit, just like so. Okay, so this is going to be about layering. This is going to be about adding details as well. Something like these little berries are going to work perfectly in the backdrop of this piece as well, giving you a little bit of architecture, a little bit of detailing. So let's position those where we want them to sit, right click, and order that to send it to the back. So everything that we've just placed down is now popping to the foreground, even that poinsettia, and the berries are in the background there. I'm kind of creating this kind of swag design up the side of the floral. Again, let's use some more structural elements as well. We've got these wonderful little sticks, which I know sounds like a really strange thing to say, but these add a really great detailing and a long line to whatever swags you might be using. Again, just using that circle to change it to a different orientation. And let's just pull out on the magnification just so we can keep this whole piece in eye range. Let's look to where we want placement. Again, following those berries, maybe we want it coming a little bit further, a little bit more of an angle like so. Making sure the end is going to be hidden behind the florals. Right click on it and order, again, send to the back. So you see how we're building this whole piece, this whole design up. Let's go ahead and mirror this little stick design with some other kind of shapes, kind of detailing. These little seed heads, these are gorgeous for adding in detail. And again, we've got them in a couple of different orientations as well. Scroll them down, change them size-wise until they sit within the proportions of what you're creating. A little smidge bigger. And this time around, we need to be a little bit clever with how we're going to place these, because we kind of want them in between layers. I'd like them in front of the berries, but behind the poinsettia. So let's see if we can click on the poinsettia. If we can't, we can go to layers and choose it, and then right click and choose to bring that to the front. And again, back to those wonderful little hellebore there, and order to bring those to the front. So now our little poppy heads are sitting behind our design. We can go ahead and select them and just nudge them into wherever we need them to be. Again, just bringing perhaps the roses over, just finding that placement until it sits happily within the design. And let's move that poinsettia out a little bit as well, just like so. That's looking fine. Another little seed head I think will complete that area of the design, but we have got, as I say, variations on direction and orientation, which makes it feel really natural. It gives it a really lovely feel and look. Again, let's change the orientation and let's just squeeze that down in size. And again, have that coming into play, but again, just being mindful of placement, making sure it sits behind. It isn't about seeing each individual piece on something like this. It's really about giving that full effect, just as you would do if it was real life as well. What else do we want to include? Some ivy. Let's go in with some leaves, because I feel like we need a little bit of play around this side, a little bit of detailing here. So the black ivy is perfect for adding a little bit of detailing without overwhelming the card design. And let's just change the orientation. So we're just playing about with how that sits, where that layers, where the ivy can be seen, just like so. And again, looking to make sure we can tuck the ends in and behind like so. Let's send that all the way to the back as well to build up our little spray. Now it could be that you want to tease little elements, perhaps you maybe want the sticks a little bit shorter, maybe you want another one in there. It is just about tweaking the design and playing around with it until you are happy with the overall look. Once you're happy, let's go ahead and choose to select all. So all those little bits are now highlighted, and we're going to group them together as one file, which means we can size them up, size them down, you know, really choose to be quite creative with this. We can also choose to go ahead, copy and paste, and this time just take that circle all the way around to give you the opposite direction. So you're creating this wonderful kind of flow to the design here in this swag design. But we do need something centrally to kind of tie these two pieces together. So I'm going to click on one. I am going to ungroup them just for this stage. I'm going to grab that poinsettia and copy and paste it. I'm going to click on the new one, which is going to be top of the design. Move that out and just scroll it up so it's big. Nice big piece here. Now that is going to sit centrally of the florals, of the ivy, of everything going on, and create us this wonderful kind of spray design here of all these floral elements. Once again, let's go ahead and select all. And once again, let's group together, because now you've got one file, one whole piece that we can change the size of independently from the rest of the artwork there as well. Once you've created your piece, I would recommend going ahead and saving it as a Minecraft Studio file, because that way you can come into this, you can tweak it, you can add bits, you can take bits away, but that will always be in your sort of toolbox, if you like, for your card designs. And talking card designs, let's go ahead and utilize this in one of those said designs. So let's start a new page and take away the ruler and the grid lines. And because we're going to be printing this, let's go ahead and change it to a landscape, and also choose to have it as a portrait card. I think I selected portrait there, and show that overlay, okay? From here, we want to consider adding in our mats and layers. And I wanted to play around and show you just how well this particular USB works with previous USBs that we have had. So I'm going to go back to Files, and on my USB, I did include one of the backgrounds from, this is from Winter Wanderings, a Winter Visit, sorry, the Christmas USB from this year. Yeah, Christmas Visit. Again, the Minecraft Studio Files means we've got all these lovely scenes, all these lovely backgrounds, which are going to come into play to create our card blank design. So let's change up the size of this scene. And remember, this could be any number of scenes from previous USBs for Minecraft Studio. Let's go ahead and put 14.8. Unclick your ratio button and click to make sure that's A5 size. And then A5 is 21 centimeters height. So again, click that and it will now fit into this area with a little bit of overlap. Just nudge it up slightly so it sits within your card front design. The reason I've done that is to make sure we're going to get our sizing right for our mats and layers. So here, this is going to be our first mat and layer, but I want to bring it down so we've got a little bit of a white edge all the way around this scene. So let's change the width to, let's just think about this. If I take it down by a little bit, let's just see, 14.5, so that's taking 3 off. That nudges it down slightly. And then it would need to be 20.7, taking it 3 down on the other side. And then we can just drag that down so you've got the same amount of white all the way around the edge, like so. Of course, if you wanted a little bit more, you could always just adjust those numbers as well. I might go in and take a little bit more off. 14.3, we'll take ½ centimetre off in total. This started at 21, so it now needs to be 20.5. There we go, that gives us a little bit more white all the way around the edge. So once we're happy, let's go ahead and select to copy and paste. So we've got that same layer again, but we're going to move it out for just a second, leaving this inner one like so. Now to create our mats and layers, let's choose a digital punch in a rectangle. And this was 14, if we click on it, we'll see 14.3 by 20.5. Let's take it down to 14 and 20.2. So 14 and then 20.2. And let's just move that in. Again, it's just sort of trial and error, finding that right size for your mats and layers all the way around. You can have one that's really elegant, a really slimline one like this here, or you can make it bolder if you want to. I'm going to go ahead and keep the outer to give us that matte layer, which is exactly going to match if we place this layer back over and get rid of that digital punch. Click back onto the main layer, just layer over so you've got that same lineup, that same orientation of the detailing. Let's now choose another digital punch, but this time around a circle. And let's just choose the element of the scene we'd like to select. So maybe bringing in that little cottage, some of the fence, some of the path maybe, some of these little trees in the background. And this time around we're going to choose the inner. So now we've got our little cottage and we've got a matching matte layer all the way around the edge. I'm going to get rid of that digital punch because I no longer need it. And that's going to give us our base for our design, just like so. So let's go in to our first page where we've got our wonderful swag. And we can choose to copy and bring that onto the page as well, paste. When we come to layer it over, because that's all now grouped, it's copied in one, it pastes in one, we can choose to have that swag just kind of traversing the edge of that circle and making this really fun design. Now, what I did think was, actually that's really nice, but could we play around a little bit more with this whole sort of punch idea? And I thought, yes, let's just bring in, I mean, probably shouldn't have deleted off that punch, but it's no hardship to come in and size it again, or make a note of the size so you don't have to repeat any elements here. Okay, so just making sure that the punch layers. We've now got the opportunity, that's the right size, let's move that original little setting out and bring back in the punch. Before we do anything, let's copy and paste that swag, select it, copy and paste, and move that second version out. Click back onto that punch and then once again choose to digital punch, keep the inner, okay? Let's move our background back into position like so, and layers, click back on that circle, we can uncheck the background, so we just got the circle selected, and home to delete, and then check back on that little element. I mean, that on its own right with a little sentiment there would look really fun, wouldn't it? Check back on. Now, for that piece that we copied, which is exactly the same as the piece we've just digital punched away, again, let's play around with this concept of changing things up. So into effects, let's take that saturation right down. So you almost get a little bit of colour, but not too much. Let's choose to send that all the way to the back. And now, when we come in to layer this back over, you're going to get this wonderful sort of effect of the colours just going from that bright colour where you've got the circle into this area of depth of colour as well. So just finding the point at which this lines up. There. Just checking. I'm checking all the way around the edge to make sure we've got that nice, neat point of difference between the colour edge and, if you want, the sepia tone as well. So that's going to give us this interesting effect where you've got the cutaway and the colour and the swag and the detailing all together like so. Next up, let's add some text. Let's go in with some text. So add text, click on where we want to just go with this. Let's go winter for first off. And let's choose a colour. So this little colour picker, we can choose an exact colour to match in with the poinsettia there. Double click, colour picker, change that colour through to that lovely red. If we then select our text, copy and paste, we're going to get the same size, we're going to get the same font, we're going to get the same colour, but we can just have it underneath where it says winter. And this time double click, and put in wishes instead. Now drag and hold the left mouse button to select those two areas, group those together, and now you've got a little sentiment that matches in with your colour. Adjust up the wording a little bit if you want it a different size, just squeeze that in slightly and nestle that in to the swag too. Of course, if you wanted to, we can play around further. Let's grab our whole swag design again. Let's choose to ungroup for just a moment and choose that poinsettia as just a focal image. If we copy and paste that onto, you've got the same imagery that works through your design, but we can pop it on the back of the card. Scroll it down so it becomes more like a motif. Ungroup our text, select one, copy and paste it, bring that over, and this time around we can put whatever your company name is or your company details, like so. Let's make that smaller. Oop. And just adjust it so it sits in line with the poinsettia. So you've got the back of the card with the detailing on, you've got the foreground of your card. Let's take the overlay away, and you can see, of course, if you wanted to, you could repeat that kind of digital punch with perhaps a red colour to create a border, to create a frame, print it out on something like your premium pure print papers, and you could be crafting something like this little card we've just made, just like so, utilising that digital punch, of course, using those beautiful florals to create your own spray designs and bouquets from Seasonal Finishing Touches, of course, on My Craft Studio. Thank you very much for joining me for today's workshop, and we shall see you very, very soon. If you would like to see more from Highlight Crafts, make sure you click the like button. Subscribe by clicking the subscribe button below, and click the bell icon to receive notifications on all our future content. You can also click here to see our latest video, or click here to see more videos like this one.